What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Raymond, and you're listening to New Wave Real Talk. Hope you're having a wonderful week. Thank you for joining me for episode number 16. You've seen the description, so you know what I'm going to be talking about. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. You're listening to the New Wave Real Talk podcast, and I'm your host, Raymond Riley. This podcast is everything Black culture, covering the latest topics in politics and entertainment.
If you have
Thank you
sat
for
in
listening.
office and haven't done a thing to further the cause of African American people in your community, then you do not deserve to hold that office. Period. A referendum on the status quo.
All right, so let's go ahead and just jump right into the show. Ellen DeGeneres. How in the world did Ellen DeGeneres make it onto the podcast today? What the heck did Ellen DeGeneres done did? What did she do, y'all? Well, I know none of you guys are living under a rock. You know what she did or what she didn't do. I think that's the best way to say that, what she did not do. So Ellen DeGeneres right now is being berated around social media, berated around Hollywood as this person that was associated with this show called The Ellen DeGeneres Show, where some of her employees have now said that it was a hostile work environment. They was intimidated and sexually assaulted, and Ellen's whole ideology of be kind is just a bunch of mess. Now that's what they wanted to say. I'm just telling you. I don't create the news. I just tell you the news. I'm telling you what is going around. So, yeah, Ellen DeGeneres right now is having to defend herself against these allegations. And I will go on record and say this. Ellen DeGeneres was not the person that they are complaining about. I think it is very well to say that the claims were with other aspects of the show. I am thinking that it was more so with the production. However, Ellen says, this is my show. My name is on the show. I take responsibility. And that's what you do as a leader. Even when it hurts, even when it's tough to swallow, you stand up and you say, I'm the leader. I take responsibility. I will work like hell to fix it. And that's what Ellen DeGeneres has done. That's what she said. She said it in her own way, but that's what she said. So let's roll this clip here and let's watch her.
I feel the same way about you. Thanks so much.
This morning, Ellen DeGeneres apologizing, writing in a letter to her talk show staff. On day one of our show, I told everyone in our first meeting that the Ellen DeGeneres show would be a place of happiness. Obviously, something changed, and I'm disappointed to learn that this has not been the case, and for that, I'm sorry. It comes just days after a source close to the production confirmed to NBC News that anonymous reports alleging a toxic work environment led Warner Media to launch an internal probe into the award-winning daytime series.
Thank you, most of you.
My name is on the show and everything we do, and I take responsibility for that. Ellen says, I'm committed to ensuring this does not happen again. Earlier this month, BuzzFeed first revealed allegations of a toxic workplace culture and overnight published a new article alleging incidents of harassment, sexual misconduct, and assault from top producers on the show. BuzzFeed says they spoke to 36 former employees, many of them independently corroborating incidents of abuse.
The people I spoke to said that there is what they call a culture of fear and intimidation, and that is how the show is allegedly run.
Ellen is not accused of misconduct herself. Warner Media confirming to NBC News they have interviewed dozens of employees, past and present, saying in part, though not all of the allegations were corroborated, we are disappointed that the primary findings of the investigation indicated some deficiencies related to the show's day-to-day management, adding there will be several staffing changes. Multiple outlets now reporting one of the show's executive producers, Ed Glavin, will soon be out. He and the other two EPs previously telling BuzzFeed they take the allegations very seriously.
Listen to one another and be kind to one another.
Ellen's signature Be Kind motto facing new scrutiny for what happened behind the scenes.
And we have reached out to Ellen, Ed Glavin, and the other executive producers for comment and have not yet received a response. We do want to point out that the show is currently on its usual summer hiatus.
Well, there you go. So Ellen DeGeneres, I think, is standing up and owning it. And I think she'll come through it without a problem. At least I think she'll come through it without her show being canceled. Let me say that. It is a problem when you are the host of a TV show where people behind the scenes are being sexually assaulted, intimidated, feeling like a toxic or hostile environment. That's not cool. I don't support that. And so, Ellen, tighten up now. Because, see, now this is the thing. Ellen DeGeneres has done so much good. Her show, her team has done so much good for people. And, you know, I think that's how a lot of people like to hide, though. You know, you give all these things away and all these cars away, and then behind the scenes you are a complete hellion. Now, I hope that's not Ellen. I don't think that's Ellen. But I've seen it. We've all seen it. So hopefully we don't see that happen to Ellen DeGeneres. Her show is set to come back on September 9th. So hopefully this little hiccup, let me not say that, little hiccup. This situation does not cancel Ellen. I don't want to see Ellen DeGeneres being canceled. I think she does a great job for daytime TV. So yeah, but like I said, Ellen, tighten up. So yeah, so that's the Ellen DeGeneres story. That's how Ellen made it to the podcast today. But on a different note, I want to talk about something that is a little bit on the disturbing side. Ware State Prison, located down there in Waycross, Georgia. It's a mess. It's a mess. Y'all watch this video, and then, you know, we're gonna talk about it.
Covering Ware County, Georgia. Tonight, we're learning more about an incident that took place inside the Ware State Prison. This is near Waycross, that prompted the prison to go into lockdown. According to the Georgia Department of Corrections, 2 staff members and 3 inmates were hurt during the incident. News4Jax reporter Zach Lashaway talked with a former officer of the facility.
Georgia Department of Corrections is referring to this incident as a disturbance. We must warn you, the details and images you're about to see are graphic. In video gone viral, you can see injured and bloodied inmates inside a prison dorm in disarray.
I brought us a shot.
The, quote, disturbance inside Ware State Prison Saturday night into Sunday morning was streamed on social media.
Those videos were shot by inmates on contraband cell phones that they get.
John Eason says he worked for Georgia Department of Corrections at Ware State Prison for 10 years. Eason says he resigned 2 weeks ago.
We've been breaking policy. We've been very short-staffed.
News4Jax crime and safety expert Ken Jefferson says this sort of thing can easily happen inside a prison, but officers here handled the situation well.
Yeah, that's a pretty good response time for a large facility like that. You know, you've got hundreds of inmates there. You've got to account for all of them. So it's going to take time. You got to be methodical with that process. You can't rush it because somebody could be hiding somewhere waiting for a chance to go through a door, unsecured door, or maybe even attack a correctional officer. So they've got to take their time to defuse the situation. And hour and a half time frame to have a lockdown is not a long time at all.
According to the department's website, Ware State Prison is a closed facility with 1,546 inmates. The department says they are investigating a disturbance caused by inmates. They released a statement saying in part, quote, 2 staff members received minor non-life-threatening injuries and 3 inmates received non-life-threatening injuries. A golf cart was set on fire and several windows were broken, but no major damage to the facility was reported, and officers deployed non-lethal ammunition and brought the incident under control. At no time was public safety at risk. I reached out to Georgia Department of Corrections with further questions. In mid-July, an inmate at Ware State Prison was murdered by another inmate. GDC is investigating that incident.
And Waycross police confirmed 2 News4Jax. They sent 5 officers to help secure the perimeter around the prison last night.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing. So I want to first mention or say something about the previous correction officer who they interviewed at News4Jax. The gentleman said that it was contraband phones that they were using. Well, my question to him is, how in the hell they get the phones in the jail? Through the guards? I mean, how else did the phone get in? Right? Then he says he had just quit 2 weeks ago. He dodged that bullet. But so he complained about short staff. He said they had been short staff and they had been breaking protocol. So like, why would you say that? Why would y'all be breaking protocol at a prison? I mean, it's insane to me. Now, on the other side of the aisle, there's news circulating about why the inmates was uprising. It is circulating that they were appeased by the way they were being handled when it comes to the coronavirus. They were basically just left to die in jail with the coronavirus. In some ways, the Department of Corrections for the state of Georgia really has a lot to explain. I mean, the other thing is a disturbance. How does this get downgraded to a disturbance? A disturbance to me, is like some of them get out of the, some inmates get out of the building and run or over across the yard or something. That's a disturbance. People being shot and you call it a disturbance? Come on, state of Georgia, Department of Corrections. Are you really hearing yourself right now? 2 people shot, one of your own correctional officers injured. I think multiple correctional officers injured. Your golf cart done got set on fire. And you say it's a disturbance? That don't make no sense, man. We need a full account of what happened, why it happened, and how can it be prevented. Now, I don't work in the correctional facilities or correctional industry, so I know that I am probably the last person to be able to speak on it. But as a person who paid taxes in the state of Georgia, in turn, I pay the salaries of the correctional officers. I pay for food for the inmates and all of that. So I think that we as citizens of the state of Georgia ought to get a full account as to how it happened and why it happened. We pay taxes to see that those inmates are taken care of. That's just a matter of fact. So come on, Department of Corrections, do a better statement than that. Because what you just said don't make no sense. Because you downplayed it to be a disturbance. And that clearly was not a disturbance. That was an all-out riot. There was fire, and there was bullets, and there was blood. That's a riot. Okay? That's a riot. Come on out with what's going on and what y'all going to do to move away from it and fix it so that it doesn't happen again. And what are we doing with the coronavirus in the prison? Because is my sources are telling me that the coronavirus is the reason these inmates uprised and took over and assaulted one of the guards or a couple of the guards, took them hostage, they say, and then they set the golf cart on fire. So to downplay it as a disturbance is only setting yourself up for, I guess, the real riot. If that wasn't a riot and that was a disturbance, I don't want to see what the real riot looks like. And then what was disturbing about that Ware State Prison video is that the inmates were trying their darndest to help their brother. You know, there was no medical aid, you know, but I you can't do that in the middle of a disturbance, right? So my prayers are with my brothers that are incarcerated. I hope and pray that the Department of Corrections leadership takes some accountability and fix this so it doesn't happen again. You shouldn't get shot in prison. How do you get shot in prison? Now, shanked or stabbed, okay. But shot? Really? Really? All right. Moving right along, talking about corrections and talking about criminal justice. I want to move to a different topic. And I want to go ahead and go on record and publicly endorse, not like my endorsement means a whole lot, but I hope it does, for all of you viewers that are watching the New Wave Real Talk podcast or listening to the New Wave Real Talk podcast, and you live in the city of Atlanta, Fulton County, you need to make sure on August the 11th that you go and you cast your district attorney's vote. Okay? Go on August the 11th. There's a runoff for Fulton County for district attorney. You need to cast your ballot. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you who I think you should cast your ballot for. Now, you know, you have to decide for yourself. Do your own due diligence. Do your own homework. But I think you should vote for this woman right here, Fani Willis. She is running for district attorney of Fulton County. She will be the first African-American female district attorney for Fulton County. Now, that's not the only reason why you should vote for her. She has over 18 years of experience as an attorney. She worked for the district attorney's office of Fulton County for over 15 years. She has served as a judge. She is well equipped to be a competent and honest district attorney for the people of Fulton County. Yes, she knows who she is, and she talks with conviction. She talks with confidence. She does not tuck her tail between her legs and cower away. She is a woman who is confident in herself and in her abilities to lead as the district attorney. She has policies that she wished to implement. And I'm going to tell you some of those policies. But I wanted to tell you that the temperament thing and the confidence thing is because I have been hearing and seeing so many negative comments towards Fani Willis. And if she was a man, there would be a different conversation. And that is a part of the problem. But I digress. The way she was treated on the Derek Bozeman show was absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. But this is not going to be that type of show, not that type of story. Let me tell you why I feel that she's the right candidate and the right person for the job. Her policies. She wants to create a pre-indictment diversion program. That in itself is absolutely amazing. She wants to put in place a system to where before you are indicted, that there are some type of diversion program to lessen the level of incarceration in Fulton County. Because we all know that our current district attorney does not care about diverting anything. All he cares about is the facade that he is actually prosecuting cases for the city or for the county of Fulton. He wants the facade to be there. He doesn't care about the facts in the case. He just wants to try the case and bring some type of a charge, whether those charges are adequate or not. And that's the problem. She wants to establish a comprehensive investigation unit leading to proper charging and indictments. She wants to expand the post-indictment diversion programs. She wants to advocate and forge a stronger relationship with community and religious leaders. She wants to see youth development programs, more of them. And she wants accountability in the courts. She has the experience to lead. I just told you a little bit about her experience, but it is up to you to take it to the next level and learn a little bit more about Fani Willis. And Fani is spelled F-A-N-I. Last name Willis. So my whole philosophy, as you have seen in my opening of my podcast, is a referendum on the status quo. I refute the notion that you should take your vote and give it to someone just because other people know their name, just because they have been in office for 23 years. That is not the pre-qualifier, in my opinion. Your pre-qualifier to getting your vote should be stronger than that. It should be based and rooted out of action and resolve. And after 23 years, it should be based on track record. So let me talk a little bit about her competitor, the current district attorney of Fulton County. This guy, District Attorney Paul Howard Jr., elected 1997 as the district attorney for Fulton County. District Attorney Howard has spent a long time in this office. He served, depending on who you ask, he has served righteously to some and shameful to others. It depends on what you want to see. But let me tell you the facts. The facts is he has, over the years, dealt with his share of scandals. One scandal that is continuing to, that is now ongoing, is the scandal where the city council voted to allow for a grant in the amount of $250,000 to go over to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office as a incentive program to benefit the people of Fulton County. And it was supposed to go to this organization or this nonprofit. And the nonprofit now has turned out to be owned by District Attorney Paul Howard. Now that $250,000, $140,000 of that went directly in the pocket of District Attorney Howard in the form of a salary increase. So he gave himself a $140,000 pay raise on the backs of the people of the city of Atlanta with that smile on his face. Look at that smile on his face. Straight to the bank. So is that the person, is that the type of person that you want leading the charge in upholding the laws in the county of Fulton that makes up pretty much the city of Atlanta? I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. So he's currently on investigation because of that with the Georgia Georgia Bureau of Investigations. And not only that, he's now under investigation because he issued a grand jury subpoena in the case of Rayshard Brooks. Now, I will go on record and say this. I support those police officers being thrown in jail. They ought to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. He had no business in shooting Rayshard Brooks, even though Rayshard Brooks was running from the police. It does not constitute him being shot and killed. Period. So I support the charging of those officers. Here's where I'm concerned. District Attorney Paul Howard quickly charged the officers. But he did so in a way that is now coming under scrutiny that he has violated the law by the subpoena that he sent in. So he could very well botch the whole case for the Brooks family and for everybody that wants to see that officer brought to justice. He could very well kill the investigation because of his gross incompetence or negligence, however you want to look at it, regarding that subpoena. So if we have a district attorney that only wants to act in a political advantage to him, and here's why I say that. D.A. Howard has cases right now today that are in his office from 2017, of which one guy was shot over 70 times. No conviction. It makes no sense. None at all. So, to me, the choice is clear. But to some, the choice is clear as well, that they're going to vote for him because they know his name and they know his face, and they have been programmed to believe that you go with someone who you're familiar with, even though they're not serving you. They're not serving your people. How can you explain to me that you cannot try a case where someone was shot 74 times and not get a conviction, but someone can be shot 2 times because it's national news? You move and you charge without doing it properly. It brings up those type of questions. The mayor of the city of Atlanta, she did it. She said it quasi. She said it in a quasi way, but she begged the same question. D.A. Howard has cases on his desk right now that have been there for years. Why aren't those cases tried and charged in the same tenacity and rigor and vigor that you've charged this case? And it's not about the case. It's really just about him and his inability to execute his duties properly. That's what it's about. So let's talk about the DA's office just in general. The district attorney's office has so much power. So much power. Most people don't realize how much power the district attorney office has. And that is why I am doing this segment on this podcast. The district attorney is the person that has the ability to try a case in a way they can get a conviction or they can get an acquittal. It's up to them on how to try the case. And it's also up to them to do the investigation, them and their team. So when you talk about criminal justice reform, when you talk about the disparities in the criminal justice system, when you talk about the incarceration disparities between African American and white American, that's where it starts. It starts with your district attorneys, your attorney generals. Those are the individuals that are trying these cases. And then it goes to your judges. It goes from there. But your district attorney is the foundation. So if you don't have a competent district attorney, you're going to be trying cases that otherwise shouldn't even be tried, or the severity of the crime is not adequately charged, either lesser or greater, whichever way. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And so that is why, come August the 11th, we have to say goodbye to Paul Howard Jr. And it's okay. Paul Howard has served for 23 years. I don't even understand why he's rerunning again. I really don't. I mean, I really don't. I really don't. And so, I mean, it's like, you know, why should you have to be forced to leave when you know that you're no longer effective for the people of Fulton County? And then on top of that, now this is just knowing the news. There's allegations from his office of inappropriate conversations to the female staff. And I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to say it because I think that talks about the character and the integrity. After so long, man, when you've had a job for 23 years, you subconsciously get this ideology that you're untouchable, that people are going to vote for you just because. And I have growing up, I looked up to District Attorney Paul Howard because I used to want to be an attorney back in the day. But to see his record and to see the cases that he's tried, the cases that he has not tried or has yet to try, it does not make sense that he's even running for re-election. But we have an opportunity. We do. We have an opportunity to vote for Fani Willis, a true champion, I think, for the people of Fulton County. So, Fulton County, let's not make a mistake in voting for the person that is going to keep us in scandal after scandal, the person that's going to keep botching everything and doing things out of political expediency versus following the law. Let's say goodbye to that, and let's just say hello to our new district attorney, Fani Willis. All right, so I think that is going to be the show for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in midweek, or actually beginning of the week. Today is Tuesday. So thank y'all for tuning in, man. I will be back not next Friday, this Friday coming up at 8 p.m. We'll do another show. I don't know what that topic is going to be just yet, but episode 16 is now in the books. Thank y'all for subscribing. Also know that you can watch every single episode of New Wave Real Talk over on YouTube. Just search for New Wave Real Talk. You'll see our logo on there and click on that. Subscribe to the page. It's free to subscribe. Okay, hold on. Y'all didn't hear the yay. Hold on. Gotta give you the yay. All right, cool. So y'all go over there and subscribe to the New Wave Real Talk YouTube page. Also, know that you can take me in your car wherever you go. Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Let's do that. Put me on your phone. Take me with you. And you can get all of my crazy ideas. So thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all on Friday. Take care.